Good morning, America. Severe weather on the move, bracing for unprecedented tariffs, and the identical quadruplets defying the odds. Overnight, deadly storms, winds over 60 miles per hour in Georgia, a state of emergency in Michigan for ice, a possible tornado hitting a school in Alabama. Ginger's tracking the severe weather outbreak expected in the heartland, and a potentially historic flood event putting 22 million Americans on alert.
Bracing for President Trump's tariffs. What we know this morning is he gets set to ramp up his trade war, how businesses and consumers are scrambling before they take effect.
New details on the sudden death of Millard Gardner, the 14-year-old son of former Yankee star Brett Gardner, what police in Costa Rica say was found in the hotel room.
New details in the case of the doctor accused of trying to kill his wife, her account that he tried to throw her off a cliff in Hawaii, and what she says happened after two other hikers scared him off.
The armed break-in at a former NFL star's home while his family was there. What he's saying this morning.
Liftoff overnight. An all-civilian flight blasting into space.
Batman. Meet the MIT grad and former physics professor behind the new bat that's been a smashing success for the game.
High drive, right field.
1 in 11 million. How these beautiful identical quadruplets defied the odds, just short of a miracle. And a strong win overnight.
Strong spinning and finishing.
Freshman star Sarah Strong and Paige Beckers.
Beckers will fire and hit from 3.
Leading UConn back to the Final Four. Plus, Texas still dancing.
Gonna take it the distance and one.
Their coach couldn't be more proud.
I know I'm not their world, but they are my world.
Aww. Now who will take it all?
What doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Live from Times Square, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America, and congratulations to all 8 teams that are going to the Final Four, both the men's and women's brackets. They made it through. They're still dancing.
We are getting there. We have a lot of news to get to this morning as well, including the latest on President Trump's tariffs. They're expected to come tomorrow. They're essentially a sales tax on so many products. We're going to tell you what the biggest impact could be, where you should buy now.
But we're going to begin with the dangerous storms causing damage up and down the East Coast, with the next cross-country storm already underway as millions brace for a potentially historic flooding event. Ginger, of course, is tracking it all for us. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning. That new spring storm has already blown up over the Rockies, but we had more than 600 severe storm reports in just the last 48 hours. In the last 24, it went from Texas to New Jersey. Overnight, millions in the East battered by deadly storms, already claiming at least 5 lives. Winds over 60 miles per hour taking down trees and damaging homes in Georgia.
Luckily, we didn't have any injuries. However, we do have families displaced because of the storm.
3 children killed in Kalamazoo, Michigan, when a tree fell on their car.
The family's vehicle was struck by a tree as they were traveling down the road.
This deadly system, all ice in northern Michigan.
We need help. It's like we had a hurricane up here without the hurricane.
Trees snapping after up to 1.5 inches of ice encased everything. More than 150,000 homes in the state there left without power. In Alabama, 5 students injured after a possible tornado hit their school.
I saw the library doors fling open and a bunch of wind and debris started flying through the hall.
At least 1,700 flights impacted yesterday. The cross-country storm now moving out to sea, and another right on its heels. Yeah, really no time to pause. We've already got wind alerts up from California up to Nebraska, red flag warnings and fire alerts there in the southwest. And I'll get to this flood watch because that is super serious. But that low is going to track across tonight into tomorrow with 2 areas of severe weather. We stopped it at 7 p.m. You're still seeing storms up around Chicago and definitely have made their way in the afternoon through Little Rock or Memphis. But I'd say the biggest tornado threat comes, say, right there in southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, Paducah, Kentucky, back parts of Memphis, and again, Arkansas. Tonight, you'll have a bit in the plains down to Oklahoma City, but this is the part I really want everyone to hear. That front's not going to move after that. So Wednesday through Sunday, we have a life-threatening flood event setting up where the Mississippi River meets the Ohio River. We could see more than a foot of rain in a couple of days.
Wow. Okay, Ginger, thanks. We're going to get the latest now on President Trump's tariffs. The president is set to impose new sales taxes on imports, and Wall Street is bracing for the impact. We're going to have the latest from Wall Street first. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Georgia. President Trump is poised to upend the global economy with these unprecedented tariffs coming tomorrow, but the details still remain unclear, creating even more anxiety for the markets and American consumers. This morning, President Trump is touting his upcoming blitz of tariffs against American trading partners.
They're reciprocal, so whatever they charge us, we charge them, but we're being nicer than they were.
But it's still unclear how big these tariffs will be or which countries will be targeted. Has the president decided on the scale and scope of these tariffs?
It's time for reciprocity, and it's time for a president to take historic change to do what's right for the American people.
The president is adamant his tariffs will encourage manufacturing in the U.S. and ultimately boost the economy. But experts caution it could take years to bring industries back to American soil. And in the meantime, American consumers will likely pay the price. Economists warning tariffs are just taxes on imported products paid for by American businesses. Those costs passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. In just days, prices could skyrocket on everything from groceries and clothing to electronics and cars. By one estimate, the cost of a new car could go up by more than $8,000 when tariffs on foreign-made vehicles kick in later this week, sending some consumers scrambling. In Ferndale, Michigan, Karen Petke had planned to buy a new Subaru in June. Instead, she rushed to the dealership.
I didn't want to take a chance that this car could go up thousands of dollars.
Small businesses are also bracing for the impact of Trump's trade war.
The chaotic nature of how these tariffs are rolled out and how it changes every single day. How am I supposed to plan for that? I can't plan for that.
In Buffalo, New York, Dave Sheffield sells custom sports products, many imported from Canada. Now with tariffs in place and potentially more to come, he says he could lose thousands of dollars.
We're having to either, take that hit on our bottom line and just at the end of the year, I make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 less for my family, or we have to pass it on to our customers, which when customers see a higher price, then sales typically go down. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And a new poll from the Associated Press shows Americans aren't sold on the president's trade policies, 60% disapproving with 38% approving. And on his handling of the economy overall, 58% disapproving with 40% approving. Robin.
All right, Mary, our thanks to you. We're going to go to our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, with the latest on how the markets are reacting to President Trump's tariffs. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, and as we just heard from Mary, there's still some very big unknowns here. First of all, the particulars of the president's plan, which is set to take effect tomorrow, and also how other countries might respond and retaliate. And that uncertainty is flowing and rippling over here on Wall Street. You've seen the S&P 500 so far this year with this tariff uncertainty hanging over it, down about 4.5%. The S&P 500 is the thing most 401ks track, so it's probably reflected in your retirement savings account. And a number of economists with the tariff overhang have suggested that the possibility of a recession grows ever higher, as well as job losses, and that inflation could get higher as well.
As you've often said, Rebecca, the market does not respond well to uncertainty. And given that there's so much uncertainty over the tariffs right now, is there anything people can do to prepare before they go into place tomorrow on prices and, rising?
Well, it's a short window till tomorrow, but let me tell you where you're going to see the biggest impact. Economists have looked at this. They believe cars are one of the areas that will see the biggest impact from tariffs, and that's because not only are a lot of cars imported here into the U.S., but a number of car parts are imported, which means that even U.S. automakers use foreign auto parts to create their cars, so that drives up the price. You heard from Mary, it could go up as much as $8,700. The cost of a car in the next year. And Robin, one thing to keep in mind is cars below $30,000, the most affordable cars, will see a smaller supply of those. But I just want to say, unless you need it, don't race out and make that purchase, because you need to be thoughtful about your own economics as well here, Robin.
We hear you. All right, Rebecca, thank you so much. George?
Okay, Rob, we're going down to voters going to the polls this morning. High-stakes elections in Florida. 2 seats are on the line where Republicans have a slim majority in the House. And in Wisconsin, there's a race for a seat on the state's Supreme Court. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is outside a polling place in Milwaukee. Rachel, these elections are about the balance of power in the House, essentially.
George, good morning. Yes, definitely. But not only that, this could be the first real test of how voters are feeling about President Trump's agenda. So let's start right here in Wisconsin, where there is a battle over a single seat on the state's Supreme Court. You have conservative judge Brad Schimel running against a liberal county judge, Susan Crawford. The outcome of this race will determine the balance of power on the state's Supreme Court. And that could have big implications for future rulings on abortion rights, voting and election laws, and the way in which the congressional maps in the state could be redrawn that could impact control of the U.S. House of Representatives. President Trump has thrown his weight behind the conservative judge. Elon Musk was here handing out $1 million checks, but Democrats are hoping this does become a referendum on President Trump's agenda. Over in Florida, there are 2 special elections. One is for former Congressman Matt Gaetz' seat. He initially resigned after being picked to serve as President Trump's attorney general. The other is for his national security advisor and former Congressman Michael Waltz's seat. Now, these are 2 traditionally red districts, with Democrats still making a play for them. They are keenly aware Republicans have a razor-thin majority in the House, and what happens today could ultimately expand that or shrink that. Michael?
Yeah, big implications, as you said there, Rachel. Thank you so much. We're going to turn now to new details on the sudden death of former Yankees star Brett Gardner's 14-year-old son. Officials in Costa Rica say that they detected high levels of carbon monoxide in the family's hotel room. Ariel Reshef is here with this story. Good morning, Ariel.
Good
sad
morning.
Story indeed.
Such a sad story, and we've been following these details closely. Still so many unanswered questions in this tragedy, but now a new clue that could help investigators piece together Miller's cause of death. High levels of carbon monoxide detected in his room.
This morning, new details in the investigation into the sudden death of baseball star Brett Gardner's 14-year-old son Miller while on a family vacation in Costa Rica. Investigators confirming a specialized unit found high levels of carbon monoxide contamination in the hotel room where Miller was staying. Costa Rican authorities noting the room was near a machine closet, which they believe could have emitted the deadly gas, potentially causing the incident. Miller passed away in his sleep nearly 2 weeks ago, and amid the grief and shock, deepening mystery about what happened, officials ruling out food intoxication and asphyxiation. A source close to the investigation tells ABC News the night before Miller's death, the family went to dinner at a restaurant near the resort, after which multiple family members fell ill. The hotel says they called in a medical team to treat them at the resort, but Miller died in his sleep early the next morning. There is still no official cause of death as investigators wait for the final toxicology report. The Arenas del Mar resort, where the Gardners were staying, saying in a statement overnight, "We are heartbroken by the tragic loss that recently occurred on our premises due to causes that have not yet been confirmed."
And the family announcing a celebration of life will take place at a later date. Writing in Miller's obituary, his time was brief, but his spirit will carry on forever through those who were impacted by the way he lived. Again, there's no definitive cause of death here that's been declared. That could take up to 3 months. And we do know the hotel says they're cooperating with this investigation, but still so many questions.
Oh, so many questions. All right, Ariel, thank you as always.
Of course.
Now we have the FAA investigating another troubling incident at Reagan National Airport just 2 months after that fatal collision there. A close call between a Delta passenger plane and Air Force jets triggering a collision warning. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez joins us with the latest. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Robin, good morning. Yeah, this morning the FAA is trying to understand how its controllers allowed these 2 planes to get so close to each other, especially, as you mentioned, Robin, just 2 months after that deadly crash. Now, here is what happened. You can actually see the 2 planes there on Flight Radar 24. Now, the FAA says that a Delta flight with 136 passengers was taking off from Minneapolis Friday afternoon when alarms went off in the cockpit, alerting pilots that another plane was nearby. It turns out they were Air Force jets traveling from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia for a flyover at Arlington National Cemetery. Now, preliminary data showing that the jets came within 6,000 feet of each other. That's about 12 seconds apart when they received those alerts to change course. Of course, it was at this very airport, Reagan National, where a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines plane, killing 67 people. Now, as all of this is going on, we're also learning about an unrelated incident inside that same air traffic control tower at Reagan. A man was arrested and charged with assault and battery, reportedly after an incident with a colleague in the tower. So there are lots of questions this morning, and it's important to get to the bottom of it because, as we've seen, mistakes in aviation can cost lives. George.
They sure can. Okay, Gio, thanks very much. We're going to switch gears now. March Madness, Will Reeve is here. Women's Final Four is set.
Sure is, George, and we got a lot of chalk, as they say. There's 8 teams left. There's 4 men's, 4 women's, all number ones, except for UConn, and they've won a million of these things, so it's all the best of the best here. And for the women, the next stop is Tampa.
This morning, UConn women's basketball is back in familiar territory.
And the Connecticut Huskies are headed to a record 24th Final Four.
Beating the USC Trojans 78-64. The Huskies now the only non-number 1 seed in the Final Four in the women's or men's brackets.
Beckers will fire and hit from 3.
Superstar senior Paige Beckers with a record night, her 3rd straight 30-point game.
On the other end, finishes plus the foul.
She's scored 105 points in the last 3 games. That's more than any other player in UConn history in as many games. Beckers now 2 wins away from the one accolade she doesn't yet have, a national title.
Final Four, let's go. See you there, Paige. Woo, I'm glad I wasn't water.
Meanwhile, teammate and star freshman Sarah Strong spinning through her first big dance.
Strong spinning and finishing.
One of the leading contenders for Freshman of the Year, scoring 22 points and grabbing a career-best 17 rebounds.
It's back to the Final Four for the 40 Acres.
And Texas knocking down TCU. The Longhorns, led by the dynamic duo of SEC Player of the Year Madison Booker and Rory Harmon.
Just to come back like I did and get to a Final Four like we did, it just means a lot to me.
Texas appearing in their first Final Four since 2003.
I know I'm not their world, but they are my world.
It's really nice. It's the 16th time in 17 tournaments UConn is into the Final Four. They know what they're doing. Get this, they didn't even cut down the nets after they won. You know, you go to the Final Four, you snip the net. They're like, we'll save it for the next one.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do.
When you have someone like Paige Beckers, 105 points in 3 games, and the injuries that she's overcome, for her to be back in the Final Four and have a chance. But it's going to be a good one.
Sure is.
All 4 teams. All 4 teams. Thank you. Well, coming up, Eva Pilgrim is here with new details on the doctor accused of trying to kill his wife on a hike in Hawaii, Eva?
Yeah, Ariana Koenig has filed a temporary restraining order against her husband, filled with details she says happened on that hike, including the phone call he allegedly made while fleeing the scene of the crime. I'll have the details coming up, George.
And the civilians launched into history overnight as we hear from the astronauts who were stranded in space for the first time since they returned to Earth.
And the home invasion caught on camera. Armed men broke into a former football star's house. Coming up, we have the 1 in 11 million birth of identical quadruplets. The little girls are home now. We're going to hear from their parents when we come back. So you stay right there.
Hurts on the sneak. Kyle drives his way in. Touchdown.
Back here on GMA, and a question for you. Well, a question for the Super Bowl champs. Will Jalen Hurts and the Eagles need a new play? Because the NFL is expected to vote today on possibly banning these so-called tush push.
How's it going to go?
I have no idea. They've tried it before. They still
trying to get rid of it?
Yeah, they tried to get rid of it before. Everyone should learn to do it, and then they'll probably ban it.
First, new at 7:30, breaking news from the Middle East. Israeli forces have reportedly killed a key operative of Hezbollah in a strike on southern Beirut overnight. Also, officials say the death toll from Friday's earthquake in Myanmar has now topped 2,000 people, with an additional 4,000 injured. Those numbers expected to rise. Crews still searching for survivors.
Powerful storms caused widespread flooding on the Greek islands of Paros and Mykonos. Both popular tourist destinations, floodwaters carried away cars and debris. Officials say no one was reported injured. Several islands remain under severe weather warning through the day. And imagine winning the lottery, but losing the ticket. A woman in Pennsylvania has been trying to find a lost Pennsylvania Cast 5 lottery ticket that has the winning numbers for a $2.5 million jackpot. She bought the ticket almost a year ago at the Shop and Save in Murrysville. After realizing 2 weeks later it was a winning ticket, she couldn't find it because she put the ticket in her jacket, but she donated the jacket. That is a case of a good deed got punished.
Yeah, punished indeed. Well, hopefully somebody will find it.
If someone finds it, I think they probably think it comes with the jacket and they're going to claim it.
That's something.
That's too bad.
Well, it is too bad. We have the Hawaii doctor now accused of trying to murder his wife by pushing her off a cliff. A new court filing reveals her horrifying new claims about the alleged attack. Eva Pilgrim is here with those details for us. Good morning.
Good morning. They had just taken a selfie when Ariel Koenig says her husband tried to kill her. She survived, and now she's sharing in detail what she says happened as she asks the court for a restraining order to protect her against him.
This morning, new first-hand details about how anesthesiologist Gerhard Koenig allegedly tried to murder his nuclear engineer wife, Ariel, on that scenic Hawaiian hiking trail. In a newly filed restraining order, Ariel saying that in December, Koenig accused her of cheating on him, leading to extreme jealousy on his part. Since then, he has attempted to control and monitor all of my communications. We have been participating in both couples and individual therapy and counseling.
She's arguing that he's not only a danger to her, but also their children, requesting that he not be able to go back to their home or contact them in any way.
The court document then going on to detail what she remembers of that day, explaining that Koenig planned the trip to celebrate her birthday, saying that hike last Monday was his idea. During the hike, I became uneasy and informed Gerhard that I did not want to continue. A short time later, he grabbed me by the upper arms and started pushing me back towards the cliff edge, about a 1,200-foot drop, as he yelled, "Get back over there. I'm so sick of you," and continued to push me. Ariel saying she threw herself on the ground to keep from going over the edge. While the two struggled, Gerhard grabbed his bag and took out a syringe with an unknown substance attempting to inject me. I grabbed the syringe, trying to throw it, before he attempted to find a second syringe in his bag. Ariel going on to describe how he then grabbed a nearby rock and began bashing me repeatedly on the head with it. And that is when two women appeared on the trail and began shouting, "We are here. We are calling 911, saving her."
It's very likely that Ariel Koenig will be successful in getting a restraining order against the doctor. If and when both parties are present and the facts are flushed out in front of the court, there could be a more permanent order that is instituted in this case.
In the petition, Ariel also claims Koenig was seen covered in blood and heard FaceTiming his son saying, "I just tried to kill Ari, but she got away."
Now, Ariel's attorney telling us she is at home with her family right now, focusing on her recovery. As for her estranged husband, he is expected back in court Thursday for an arraignment and a plea hearing. So,
wow, you hear that? Wow,
oh,
crazy story.
It's chilling.
Yeah, very
chilling.
crazy story.
All right, thank you so much, Eva. And now to the home invasion. Caught on camera, armed men broke into former football star Richard Sherman's house while his family was home. Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, is here with the story. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, Michael. The star defensive back was still out celebrating his birthday early Sunday morning, but Richard Sherman said his wife and kids were home when these armed burglars burst in. Three men in jackets and face masks broke through a window and tore through Sherman's Seattle area home. It's not clear what, if anything, was taken, but at least one of the intruders, as you see, appeared to carry a duffel bag and a gun. House being robbed at gunpoint with my family in it isn't what anyone wants for a birthday gift, Sherman said on social media. Scary situation that my wife handled masterfully and kept my kids safe. This follows a rash of burglaries targeting the homes of professional athletes, including Chiefs stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, along with Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. The King County Sheriff's Office is just now starting to investigate what happened at Richard Sherman's home. There have been few residential robberies of late in the area, so, George, it's possible Sherman's house was targeted.
Yeah,
George.
It seems like it. Okay, Aaron, thanks very much. Now to last night's civilian space launch, and we hear from the two astronauts who spent 9 months on the space station for the first time since they returned to Earth. Gio Benita is back with that story. Hey, Gio.
Hey, George, yeah, first that historic launch, right? Lots of space news here. It turns out that humans really haven't flown directly over the North and South Poles in orbit. Now they are. They're doing it right now. This as we speak with those astronauts who sparked worldwide headlines.
3, 2.
Overnight, history is headed to space.
And liftoff.
The first human polar orbit spaceflight aboard SpaceX's Crew Dragon Resilience, flying 267 miles over Earth. On the mission, all civilians, a cryptocurrency entrepreneur, a film director, a robotics researcher, and a polar adventurer. On the 3 to 5 day mission, the Fram-2 crew plans to take the first X-ray in space, perform exercise studies to maintain muscle and skeletal mass, and grow mushrooms in microgravity. As one SpaceX mission blasts off, others brought safely home on another Crew Dragon.
I'm back. First and foremost, we were always coming back.
NASA astronauts Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore sitting down with GMA for the first time after their 9-month stay at the International Space Station.
What was the first thing you did when you got back to planet Earth?
Hug my wife, of course, and my daughters.
Help us with this. Were you truly stuck in space?
You know, we have a lifeboat all the time while we're up there in case anything happens, because anything can happen in space, right? We train for emergencies up there. We had a way to get off of the space station in case there was a problem. But I never felt stuck.
That 8-day mission turning into 286 days after technical issues with the Boeing Starliner, a SpaceX Crew Dragon able to bring them home. The astronauts crediting their previous space travel with how they're able to reacclimate after their extended stay.
Acclimating back, getting used to that, the body remembers quickly, and I think we've all rebounded really, really quicker because of that past experience we've had.
We've gone through this before, so you know that there's a little bit of a hump to get over feeling a little crappy and then, you know, get back into dealing with gravity.
And a lot of people have been wondering about their health. Well, you saw them there. They say they are feeling great. They're feeling strong. In fact, on Sunday, Sunny says that she went out for a 3-mile run already. And again, this was just 2 weeks ago when they got back. And they credit their rehabilitation team right here at NASA for getting them in shape, guys.
Yeah, it's good to see them back and in shape, running further than I've run in years. All right, congrats to both of them. All right, Gio, thank you. Now with the bat, that's been a smashing success for the Yankees so far this season. Well, this morning, we're hearing from an MIT graduate turned coach behind the so-called torpedo bat. And Larry, you got that for us. Good morning again.
Good morning to you. So just days into the new season, the MLB has been turned upside down by a bat that resembles a bowling pin and has been a smashing success for the Yanks. Turns out it's all about physics, according to the MIT graduate who invented the torpedo bat, as it's known. And this morning, he's explaining the science behind it. And make no mistake, every other team in the league is taking notes.
High drive, right field.
This morning, as the battle of the bats intensifies,
the bat worked. A 3-run home run.
The man behind the phenomenon is speaking out about the new tool helping the Yankees blast homer after homer.
The world of data analytics, physics, math, etc. can have such a positive impact on the game of baseball and generate so much excitement.
Aaron Lenny Lenhart, an MIT graduate and former physics professor turned analyst at the Yankees, telling ABC affiliate WPLG how he got players to buy into his so-called torpedo bat, seen here in this post by former Yankee Kevin Smith next to a traditional one.
It just takes time for guys to get comfortable with it, time for guys to tweak the designs to their liking.
The design moves the barrel, or the thickest part, closer than usual to the batter's hands, putting more wood in the area where the hitter is most likely to hit the ball.
These guys have very dialed-in swings, and they're very in tune with their own equipment, and if version 0.0 is good but not good enough for them, then we try version 1.0, 2.0.
Yankee star Jazz Chisholm Jr. already blasting 3 home runs using the new bat.
You probably don't have more to work with, but it feels like it, you know what I mean? So it gives you that extra confidence in your head to be able to go out there and hit anything.
But there is some criticism of the new design.
This is like Monjuro, or one of these drugs that there's so little time to study that you don't have complete information yet.
You got to get rid of the torpedo bat. It's unfair to the pitchers. It's stupid for the game.
The bat, though, doesn't break the rules.
If it's legal and everyone's free to do it, then it ain't a controversy. Period.
Lenhart, who's now with the Florida Marlins, soaking up his moment as a real-life Batman.
I never got this when I was in physics. Are you kidding me?
He is Batman. And while the Yanks' recent home run heroics have thrown the torpedo bat into the spotlight, players on several other teams are also using it this season, including the Chicago Cubs, the New York Mets, as you pointed out, Michael, and the Minnesota Twins. MLB sharing this post showing other players in action using the bat. And we were talking off camera. Is it that different than a golfer trying out a different driver that has new technology in it to hit the ball
the
further?
sweet spot,
Yeah.
hit it off the toe, the heel, make sure you don't slice it. Yeah.
Yep.
I have all those things. They don't work for me. George, how about you?
Doesn't help.
Well, this is working for the Yanks.
Yeah,
You still got to hit the ball, though.
You still got to hit the ball. We've got our play of the day now, and Poppy's big day out. Larry, you got that story for us?
Yes, it's the other big Poppy. So back in January, we introduced you to Poppy, the baby pygmy hippo, who captured the nation's attention with her adorable antics, and now she's taking her next big step, her first time outside at the Metro Richmond Zoo. Poppy's still nursing at 4 months old, but she also eats solids like grain, hay, and lettuce. She's 80 pounds, and by next month, she will weigh 10 times her birth weight. She will spend most of her time outside, lounging in the pool, but a few times a day, guys, she will get to graze on the grass, and that's when zoo guests who are coming from all over get to see this adorable viral star up close and personal. Pygmy hippos are endangered. There are fewer than 2,500 in the wild. The zoo is committed to raising awareness and saving this beautiful creature.
Oh, gorgeous.
Great.
You're not done yet, Lara. Pop news next hour?
Yeah, switching gears, we've got details on what one Oscar-winning director is calling a quadrilogy. That's a first. It's his plan involving the Beatles. We'll have the story coming out.
Wow.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Overnight deadly storms. Winds over 60 miles an hour in Georgia. A state of emergency in Michigan for ice. A possible tornado hits a school in Alabama. Ginger tracking the severe weather outbreak expected in the heartland. And a potentially historic flood event putting 22 million Americans on alert.
Former Bachelorette Katie Thurston sharing an update on her battle with breast cancer.
Fortunately, I did find out today that my breast cancer has spread to the liver.
Now, what's next? And why she still feels optimistic.
In Spring Refresh, Chris Powell is here to help you get more sleep, get moving, and get up. As he says,
Good morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
Was Chris on a little mini treadmill or something there? Chris Powell, he's going to get us moving and grooving this morning to feel better in body and mind. And here's a great way to start your day. I want you to take a look. Ooh, Sophia, Philomena, Veronica, and Isabel. The 1 in 11 million identical quadruplets. And we'll tell you how they beat the odds.
They need a nap.
Yeah.
I think Mom and Dad need a nap.
Yeah, a bunch of beautiful babies there. And just ahead, we have the new study on fasting, how cutting more calories fewer days a week compares to dieting every day. Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula is here with the research.
First, look at the top stories breaking today. We start with that dangerous storm. Storms are causing damage up and down the East Coast. The next cross-country storm already underway. Millions are bracing for possibly historic flooding. Ginger, of course, is tracking it all. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, George, so at least 5 people were killed in the last 48 hours. More than 600 severe storm reports. A lot of that came with trees into cars, trees into homes, and 60-plus mile-per-hour winds do that. So from where we saw there into Georgia, you had South Bend, Indiana, now Georgia, and South Carolina. These things blast through, and there's more where that came from. This next spring storm has already developed in the Rockies. There are actually high wind alerts for power lines that could come down without thunderstorms, all the yellow you see on the map from Nebraska back to California. But it's about this flood area where the Mississippi River meets the Ohio River, and that's where we're concerned. First, with the cold front from Chicago down to Memphis tomorrow evening for tornadoes and damaging wind. Then that front doesn't move, so the area that you see circled here is for the severe part of it. But Wednesday through Sunday, this is a life-threatening flash flood event. You have to know we're giving you plenty of notice here. If you get a flash flood warning anywhere from Little Rock up to Cincinnati, the end of the week, the start of the weekend, Michael, you don't drive. That's the best way to stay alive when you've had more than a foot of rain.
That is the truth, Ginger. Hopefully everybody heeds your warning. Thank you so much for that. We're going to turn now to jury selection, starting today in the retrial of Karen Reed. The Massachusetts woman is accused of hitting her Boston police officer boyfriend with her SUV and leaving him to die. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman joins us with this story. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. We're told this jury selection process could last 2 to 3 weeks, partly because this is a case that has so captivated the Boston area that almost everyone has an opinion about what happened on that snowy night in January 2022. Now, prosecutors say that former finance professor Karen Reed intentionally backed her SUV into her boyfriend at the time, beloved police officer John O'Keefe, and left him to die in the snow. The defense counters that Reed had no part in his death and has instead blamed local and state law enforcement. Now, Reed's first trial was a blockbuster, 29 days of testimony and drama inside the courtroom, and outside of it, protests in Reed's favor. And just this past weekend, her supporters out again with new protests. And after days of deliberation during that first trial, the jury couldn't make a decision, and the judge declared a mistrial. Local media saturated with each twist and turn. There are hundreds of potential jurors that we've learned. They'll be asked a lot about how much they know about this case. And ask for Officer O'Keefe. His family feels that amidst all of the interest in this case, what John O'Keefe actually meant to his family, his friends, his fellow cops, that has been lost. Robin.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Matt, thank you. Now to a GMA health alert on weight loss. New research indicating that cutting back your calories just 3 days a week could be more beneficial than dieting every day. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is here with more. So you see, you have me leaning in, so tell us what's going on here.
So many people want to know, what is the best diet to help me lose weight? And some of you may have heard of intermittent fasting. This is the idea where you eat in a restricted way, so only for a certain number of hours a day or for only a few days a week, but not every day of the week. So this study took about 165 individuals who were average age of 40, overweight and obese, divided them into 2 groups. One group decreased their daily caloric intake by about 34%. The other group, the intermittent fasting group, basically was told eat normally on 4 days out of the week, but for 3 non-consecutive days, decrease your caloric intake by about 80%. When they looked at the results, they found that the intermittent fasting group, on average, after 1 year, lost about 6 more pounds than the more traditional daily caloric restricted group. They also felt like the group that did intermittent fasting, on average, decreased their caloric intake per week more and were more adherent to the diet. Now, both diets seemed safe, and it's important to point out, Robin, this was a particularly white, female, college-educated, non-serious chronic condition population, so it may not be generalizable to everybody.
Can I jump in here? Isn't 80% a big cut for a day?
It is, and that's really the heart of this, I think. Is this something that can work for everybody, right?
Because there are 100 million, I'm glad you jumped in with that. There are 100 million adults that are dealing with obesity. Is this something that you would recommend?
You know, I think it does work for some people. I have some patients say they really love it, but I will say it is hard for a lot of people to sustain that type of diet for a long time. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It really does depend on you. And if you looked at both of these groups, both groups lost weight. Both groups improved numbers like blood sugar and blood pressure and cholesterol. So it's really about what works. And also it's important to point out that most of the previous studies that have compared intermittent fasting and this type have not shown a difference in weight loss. And it may be because in this study, they also added nutritional counseling. They met with a dietitian 34 times, and they were advised to do about 300 minutes of activity on average. So really, we can't underemphasize the importance of both of those things, but really important as well to point out, if you do have a condition like diabetes or some other chronic health condition, maybe fasting is not the right way to go, and you want to talk to your doctor and make sure it's safe for you.
Always. All right.
Thank you. Coming up in our GMA Morning Menu, former Bachelorette Katie Thurston gives us an update on her cancer fight and why she remains optimistic.
Also had the one in at least 11 million birth or identical quadruplets, the 4 baby girls now joining their big brother and sister at home.
Plus, Chris Powell is back with tips on getting your body and mind in shape for spring, from hydration to sleep to journaling. And Lara is with 2 special guests. Hey, Lara.
Girl power, Michael. Michelle Williams and Jenny Slate are here. They will tell us about their new show, Dying for Sex. It's one of the most talked about shows of the season. We're going to get into that and so much more when we come back on Good Morning America. Stay with us.
We're
back with our GMA cover story. Former Bachelorette Katie Thurston is sharing an update on her fight with breast cancer. Eva Pilgrim back with that story. Hey, Eva.
Good morning again, George. Katie Thurston only recently found out she had stage 3 breast cancer. Now learning the cancer has spread and she in fact has stage 4. She told me she is sharing her journey in hopes that her experience helps others.
Will you accept this rose?
This morning, former Bachelorette Katie Thurston sharing an update on her fight with breast cancer.
Unfortunately, I did find out today that my breast cancer has spread to the liver. It is fairly small, however, that does put me at stage 4.
Thurston's news comes after she recently completed a PET scan.
It did detect some spots on my liver that were a little suspicious. Because of this, I did have to then do a liver biopsy to see if my cancer has spread.
This diagnosis coming just 43 days after the 34-year-old found out she had stage 3 triple positive invasive ductal carcinoma breast cancer.
It's so shocking. As a 34-year-old woman, it's just, you're not prepared.
Thurston and Jeff Arcuri, who got married on March 22nd, sat down with me 2 weeks ago, sharing what it's been like navigating her new reality.
The last thing we just did actually was IVF, because when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, I will likely have to do chemotherapy, and that's going to impact my ovaries and the likelihood of me being able to have children. So we just did that.
You did great.
Thurston says her new treatment plan will begin Friday.
I know stage 4 can sound very scary, and it can be. However, given that I am triple positive and the spots on my liver are fairly small and detected early, I feel very optimistic on my outcome.
And she has been really vulnerable on her social media, sharing just yesterday that she had a chemo class and found herself sobbing the second it started. Katie saying she's really trying to focus on that old saying, live like you're dying, but says she has good days and bad days and is finding that is easier said than done at times, Robin.
Yeah, but she is clinging to that optimistic outcome.
You need to.
Yeah, have to. Now we have one couple's very special delivery, welcoming home identical quadruplets. Ariel Reshef is back with that story for us. Good morning again, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Robin. You may ask, what are the odds? Well, in this case, it's at least 1 in 11 million. Rachel says she went in for an ultrasound for what she thought was their 3rd child, but it turned out to be their 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 4 little heartbeats, no fertility treatments, no interventions, and now this family of 8 is settling into their new life together.
It's an incredibly rare phenomenon, just short of a miracle. Rachel and Marco Vargas welcoming home their set of identical quadruplets, all girls. The odds, at least 1 in 11 million.
She said, right now, there are 4 of them. And I just kind of went blank. I don't know. I think I was in shock.
The couple facing an uphill pregnancy journey, traveling across the country from their home in Rhode Island to Banner University Medical Center in Phoenix, Arizona.
This was something that could have cost her, your life, your health.
We looked into seeking a specialist who was not just a maternal fetal medicine specialist, but who was also a specialist in high order multiples.
How are you?
Good.
That specialist was Dr. John Elliott, a world-renowned physician who has delivered more than 100 sets of quadruplets throughout his career.
Rachel's pregnancy was one I had never seen before. Marco and Rachel, they never wavered.
Despite multiple risk factors, at 30 weeks, Rachel successfully gave birth via cesarean to Sophia, Philomena, Veronica, and Isabel.
It was glorious seeing these girls triumphantly being pulled out.
I felt a huge sense of relief because I felt like they had made it. They were going to be okay.
And the family is now home on the East Coast. The couple says their 3.5-year-old son, Walter, has already assumed the role of big brother. He's helping with diaper changes, while their almost 2-year-old daughter, Stella, is still getting a little bit used to the idea of 4 younger sisters. They have 6 under 4,
I can't imagine that house.
6 under 4. Hey, Ariel, thanks so much. How about a little pop news?
Yeah, let's do it. Good morning, everybody. We will begin with the plan for the Beatles biopics. Yes, that's plural. Oscar-winning director Sam Mendes has decided he will not do 1, he will do 4 separate films, one from each of the Beatles' perspectives in what he's calling a quadrilogy. Mendes explaining his vision last night at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, where he also announced who will play the Fab Four. Guys, Gladiator 2-star Paul Mescal will portray Sir Paul McCartney. Barry Keoghan will get behind the drums to play Ringo Starr. Stranger Things breakout star Joseph Quinn will take on George Harrison, and Harris Dixon, who most recently starred opposite Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl, he will play John Lennon. Wow. The 4 films will tell the story of the Beatles from their beginnings in Liverpool to their breakup in 1970, with characters and events crossing over between the movies. All 4 films are set for theatrical release in April 2028, and Mendes tells the crowd that this will be the first bingeable theatrical experience. Such a cool idea. He has the blessings of Sir Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and the families of John Lennon and George Harrison. They have all signed off on the project.
What a creative talent there.
Yeah.
What a creative idea.
Creative, daunting, it's big.
Yes, big.
It's going to be big. So also in the news this morning, the stars of Succession take Broadway by storm. Oscar and Emmy winner Kieran Culkin and Emmy winner Sarah Snook both are starring in shows this spring, and both are getting rave reviews. Kieran is starring alongside Bob Odenkirk and Bill Burr in David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross. Sarah Snook is dazzling audiences in her Broadway debut with her solo adaptation of Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. It is unbelievable, guys. I saw it. It is mesmerizing. She plays all 26 roles. And the Roy siblings, if you will, are supporting each other as siblings should. Last night, Snook showed up for the opening night of Glengarry. And last week, Kieran did the same for Sarah at one of her preview shows. New York Magazine, by the way, says The Picture of Dorian Gray is brimming with color and directorial innovation, fabulously embodied by Snook. The Daily Beast also loved it. They proclaimed Snook is giving the year's best acting performance. As for Glengarry Glen Ross, Deadline is calling the play a must-see. The Hollywood Reporter says the stars bristle with cutthroat rivalry in this punchy David Mamet revival. So great news for the Roy family. And there's a story that is evergreen this morning for you. The University of Maryland has confirmed that this guy, Kermit the Frog, will be their commencement speaker at this year's graduation, sending off graduates with encouraging words of wisdom at their ceremony in May. The university touting Kermit's quite impressive resume, calling him an international superstar, of course, and spotlighting him as a best-selling author and Peabody Award winner. And Kermit is returning to his roots. He is actually immortalized there on the campus. That's such a great statue. It's on the campus outside the Student Union alongside his creator, Jim Henson, who graduated from the University of Maryland. Kermit will deliver the commencement address on May 21st, or should we say the commencement.
You didn't say that. You did not say that.
I did say that.
You know what?
He might use the same joke.
Yes, he might. He'll do better with it, I'm quite sure.
No, I really liked it. That was good. Good job, Lara. Now to a spring refresh for our body and mind. It's important to take a well-rounded approach to our physical and mental health. So transformation specialist Chris Powell is back with some self-care and mindfulness tips and products that you can shop for on our website. Of course, Chris, welcome back. Good morning to you again.
Man.
And we're going to start, man. Hydration. How important is hydration?
If you are looking for instant energy, mental clarity, focus, drink more water. Ooh. And unfortunately, it's one of those things, most of us are chronically dehydrated and we don't even know it. And so that's why it's so important and so handy to have a tool available to us to keep us reminding ourselves to drink more water. Just like one of these Yeti 35-ounce tumblers here. They're awesome. And I don't know, you've probably seen a lot of people carrying these things around on a regular basis for all the right reasons. They help keep your fluids cooler longer. And you know what I love about it? It fits into a car cup holder.
That's a big thing.
Oh my gosh, I used to strap my gallon of water into my seatbelt when I was driving around. So it's really handy.
But one good thing about it, when you carry these, it does make you refill them. You drink more water.
That's the beauty of it. And you know exactly how much you're drinking. This is 35 ounces, so you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna drink 2 of them a day. It's 70 ounces. You know what you're getting on a regular basis.
And you can drink your water, but you got to move. You got to move. A lot of people are at a desk job. You got a little something for everybody who's kind of sitting in a chair at work. Get up and get moving.
Yes, exactly. And so here's the thing. The human body is made to walk. The more we walk, the more we thrive. And these walking pads are absolutely incredible. But here's the thing. An amazing study came out. Over 50,000 people studied. They found that the more steps they put in every day, the longer they live. I mean, if that doesn't, that should be front page news right there.
I'm just going to walk in place.
I'm telling you, but here's the best part. Most of us, guess what? Our days, they look like this.
Yeah.
All day long. However, what if you could do that and not even think about it, but then get steps in? This is probably my favorite purchase of 2024. I bought one for myself, doubled my step count. I was doing 4,000 steps a day. Now I'm doing 10,000. Guess what? I'm going to live longer because of it.
That's right. And we need you to, because we need you back here, man.
Yes.
Helping us live longer.
Oh my gosh! And the best thing, this one right here, about $160, but you can get them for less than $100 right now.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Which is incredible.
Less than $100 to live longer. Now let's talk about sleep. Sleep is so important.
Sleep
and this mask can help you, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we sleep for a third of our lives, and here's the thing: sleep is overnight therapy, physically, mentally, emotionally. But one of the biggest disruptors of sleep is going to be sight interference and sound interference. You can get foam earplugs for 10 cents, but one of these sleep masks are incredible because you want that full blackout, especially if you have a partner who's always watching TV, flipping on the light. These are so incredible. One thing I love about this, though, is that you can feel it. It's got this built-in vibration technology. You feel that?
Kind of you
remember when you go to sleep and your mom or your dad, they scratch your scalp and they do that. It's one of those things, especially for those highly anxious, stressful people. Calm down, get your body ready for some deep and restful sleep. I absolutely love these. They're wonderful.
Right. And you have a few other things you said can help us get some better sleep as well.
Yeah, so speaking of light interference, here's the thing. As the lights go down, our body naturally produces a really powerful hormone called melatonin. But here's the thing. The one thing that disrupts melatonin, because melatonin gets us ready for sleep. What disrupts it? Light. Doom scrolling on our phone. Who's guilty of that?
Raise your hands, you all are.
I'm guilty of it too. So here's the thing, a little bit of melatonin, it can help some people because it basically, it sends the body the signal that, hey, it's time to sleep. And so if you're busy doom scrolling, a little melatonin can help. So in addition to melatonin, magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is also one of the most studied supplements out there. It activates something called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically, it's a fancy word of saying it's the body's rest and relaxed state. And so you throw those two together, deep restful sleep, very important for our health and for our healing.
And then we also always hear about mindfulness.
Yes.
So you have some things here like journaling, some toys for kids, different things for mindfulness.
Yes. Mindfulness and gratitude and affirmations, it's not woo-woo stuff anymore. They found that these are powerful for our overall mental health, and so that's why I love products like these. Check out this one. This is the Slumberkins. It's these cool little lunchbox love notes that for parents to connect with their kids and teach them about mindfulness and gratitude and affirmations, just to help our kids feel loved and seen and heard. But then we've also got these amazing little cards for adults because we need to work on our own self-love too.
Yes, we do.
We lead by example. But then these gratitude journals, again, you got just a couple minutes a day. Practice gratitude. It's like it's training a muscle that wires your brain for optimism.
All right, Chris, thank you. As always, giving us the food yesterday with the mindfulness today and calming us down, getting some good sleep. Go to goodmorningamerica.com to shop for all these great products. Coming up, Michelle Williams and Jenny Slate are here to tell us about their new show.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
We're back now with two stars of the new FX series, Dying for Sex. It's inspired by the real-life podcast of the same name. We have Michelle Williams and Jenny Slate joining us now to talk about it. Give it a big welcome for these two extremely talented artists. And you know, you both play friends in this series, and you have such a great chemistry, but I hear it kind of just happened organically from the beginning. So was it true, Michelle, that when you showed up, you both had on the same outfit?
Yes, kind of like this morning. We did not coordinate with each other to go the salt and pepper, matching bobs. It just happens like this, kind of like two best friends from grade school. And it was like that on the first day. We accidentally showed up in the same outfit. And
it was slacks. We were wearing slacks, from what I remember, meaning fancy trousers.
Fancy trousers.
I like that. So tell us about the show. Yep.
So the show is based on a real-life best friendship. They made a podcast called Dying for Sex, and it's about a woman, Molly, who was given a terminal diagnosis, her second bout with cancer. She was given a terminal diagnosis. She left her husband, and she turned to her best friend and said, "I want to die with you."
Wow.
And the two of them go on a
wild, hilarious, touching, shadowy, light-filled ride.
To the very end.
What do you hope people take away from it?
You know, the thing that I took away from it was human bravery. Faced with the worst possible scenario, this woman lived the end of her life on her own terms. She took it as this incredible opportunity. And her bravery, when I listened to this podcast, which I did twice, I'm laughing, and by the end of it, I'm just a puddle on the ground because of how she faced it on her own terms. And she did it with the person that she loved most in the world, and she did it with humor, and she did it with compassion. And that's the other thing. She goes on this sexual journey, which is the healing journey that she goes on, and everybody that she meets on the journey, she faces them with this radical empathy and acceptance, and that's what I take home with me.
And Jenny, how were you all able, because the chemistry between you two is obvious, but how were you able to bring that into the show to really get to the heart of what it is that you all want to bring about?
Well, first of all, I'm very lucky that I get to work with Michelle Williams. She makes it kind of easy. You just want to be there and get in, and we were gifted an incredible script. But I think it's also about letting the on-set environment be just a bit elastic, let it flow a little bit so that you can refresh yourself, whether it's I've got to find a new way to make this funny, because if it's not funny to me, I'm not going to be able to make it funny, and we've done 5 takes and I want to see something new, or we've just been crying our eyes out and we've drained ourselves a little bit. So luckily one of us has hired an ice cream truck for them. A lot of ice cream, candy. A lot of candy, a lot of treats.
You all really did that, though. You seriously did that with the ice cream truck.
Nothing brings people together like food.
Yeah.
Nothing as exciting as a pizza truck or an ice cream truck. It really unifies, especially on a Friday night at the end of a long week.
Oh,
if you've got
so great
pizza and you can just keep going and asking for more, and you're not going to get in trouble with anybody.
You're not going to get in trouble. It's so nice. And you see all the people lining up, adults, just lining up, being I can't wait for my sprinkles.
I mean, why do you think this crew works here? They work for food. That's about it. But
Let's take a look at a clip.
Yes.
Is there anything I can do to make your day better?
Please help me.
Okay.
Are you a clown? Oh my God. You're the hospital clown.
Yeah, it's on my jacket.
Get out!
What happens to your friendship on a project like this?
Well, somebody might have decided to change location.
I was just gonna say, do I do that on TV? Yes, somebody is moving literally 2 blocks
closer.
away.
Yeah.
And also, it does seem like we've somehow tried to get the same head or what, the same face. I was on the shoot, I was saying to Michelle, I'm going short when we're done. She's like, I'm going long. And then now
we're in the same place.
Yeah, here we are.
Both done. So the bottom line, what is it that you want from people watching this? I mean, there's laughter, there's emotion, and there's something that's very hard to do, to have heart and humor, and you all masterfully did that. So, what are your hopes?
Well, we always say you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit of how you can tolerate a story like this. We know how it ends. It's a real life story.
Yeah.
We know the ending. So on the way, while she is, and this was the real life Molly and Nikki too. This is really how they dealt with what was in front of them, was using humor to diffuse it.
Well said. Well, thank you for bringing the humor and the heart to Good Morning America today. We appreciate you both very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And want everybody to know, FX's Dying for Sex premieres with all 8 episodes this Friday on Hulu. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
It is time to reveal our GMA book club pick for April. Can you believe it is April?
No.
Oh, and Waves, that's the name of it. Rebecca Jarvis sat down with the author, and she has all the details for us. Hey there, Rebecca.
Hey, Robin, nice to see you again. It is a story that spans hundreds of years. It's about the bond between sisters. It's called The Sirens, and it's by best-selling author Amelia Hart. I had a chance to sit down with her and have this chat. Take a look.
Along the coast of Australia sits the fictional town of Comer Bay and a cave that holds the secrets of 2 sets of sisters living 2 centuries apart, but united by the magic of the water. Best-selling author Amelia Hart's latest novel, The Sirens, capturing the power of sisterhood in the sea.
We have sisters Lucy and Jess, who are separated by physical distance, but over the course of the novel must become more connected. And then in the 1800s, we have twin sisters Mary and Eliza, who are on board a convict ship heading from Ireland to Australia.
What genre would you classify this as?
So I would say historical fiction with a sprinkling of magic. Maybe not a recognized genre, but one I'm trying to invent.
This story spans 200 years, 4 different women, all their lives intertwined and told over these different time periods. How did you think about that in your storytelling?
What I tried to create was a sense of like a chorus of different women's voices coming together. And so I wanted them to feel quite far apart initially, but at the end of the book, more closely intertwined, and that emotional and physical distance goes away.
Amelia says she wrote the book as a tribute to her own sister and their connection to the water.
When I was in my mid-20s, I unfortunately suffered from a stroke, which was really life-changing. And my sister, she was just such a huge support to me, and she encouraged me to go swimming one day. And it really helped me kind of reconnect with my sense of self, restore some confidence in my body. She helped me find myself again.
What did your sister think when she read the novel?
She told me that she loved it, which really meant so much to me. I think she knew that it was like my love letter to her.
Such a lovely conversation and a great read. Made me call my sister the minute I put it down. The Sirens is available anywhere you get your books. Robin?
It's truly going to make waves. Not called waves, but it's going to make waves, The Sirens. All right. You hear Rebecca?
I heard a little giggle.
Little giggle there on Wall Street.
All right, there are just 20 days until Easter Sunday. How can that be? And with both parents, kids, everybody gearing up, lifestyle contributor Lori Bergamotto is here with some festive tips. Good morning, Lori.
Well, good morning to you, Lara. And that's right, this morning we have 3 moms here in the studio. And like so many parents out there, we are getting our homes and families ready for the holiday. This segment is sponsored by Target, which is the place to shop this spring. From Easter baskets and candy to decor and outfits, Target has everything you need to celebrate at great prices. And you can shop all these items on our website by scanning that QR code on the screen.
Always, always. All right, so what are some of the trends we're seeing for this year's Easter festivities?
Okay, I know you love to decorate at home, right? So you'll know that the first thing you want to do is pick a cohesive color palette that makes everything just look so much more pulled together. So think pistachio greens, which is very trendy right now, buttery yellows, pale pinks, but also bright
maybe lavender.
pinks. Maybe some lavender, you know, lean on those Easter classics. And then also you want to add in some whimsy. Once you've got that color palette set, it is a fun holiday. It really lends itself to a lot of seasonal charm.
Yeah.
So definitely pick up featherly friends, sparkle eggs, and add some whimsy to the season.
All right, let's build a basket. Talk to me about this.
Okay, so building the basket is so much fun. We got to help out the Easter Bunny.
Yes.
And there are 3 steps. So the first thing you want to do is you want to choose your basket. And luckily, Target has a full array.
That's a good one.
I mean, these have really gotten so much better from when we got our Easter baskets when we were little.
I still use, I love the old ones though.
Yes,
like
they're
the real,
great. And Target has those.
Like,
they have the rope ones. They have sequin ones for those hard to please tweens. So there really is something for everybody. So once you've chosen your basket, you want to put some of this filler in that grass that we all know and love. And what I love to do with that, to really make it last, you can use it in birthday bags. You can even scatter it on your centerpieces and stuff. It really just makes it so
multifunctional.
Fun. And it helps so that things don't sink into the basket.
It's fun digging through it to find the treasures.
That's right. And then you want to add some fun. So you're going to take your larger pieces and you're going to put them in the back, and then you can put the other things in the front, like the eggs, the candy. Target has so much great candy.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm getting right into those.
You can put all of it.
Telling me now.
You can put all of it in for some really fun Easter charm. But I
love that.
I think we want to get to our game, right?
We have a game, everybody. All right, so tell us how it works. We've got this game. Okay. We have these moms here, right? They're going to show off what they've learned. The winner goes home with a prize. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
How do I say your name?
Rose Dolly.
Hi, Rose Dolly. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Thanks for participating in our big Easter game.
Yes, that's right. So Amanda is a mom of 2. She decorates her home with bunny footprints. Rose Dolly is a mom of 3, celebrates Easter with an egg hunt. And Lauren is a mom of 2 who loves a family dinner with the grandparents. You guys have learned all of our tips, as Lara said, and now we're going to see those skills put to the test. So here's the game. We're putting 30 seconds on the clock, and you will each race to grab items that catch your eye from these 2 shelves. You have 2 shelves, don't forget. Then go right back to those tables there and assemble your basket. Are you ladies ready?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Woo! Okay. Oh wow, she's getting everything.
Get a basket.
Get a basket.
Good choice. Good
Oh,
choice.
I love those. I like it. Okay, now they're
Rose Dolly.
assemble.
Ooh, Rose Dolly. Man down. You lost your cotton candy. Oh, I like it. They all seem to love
Amanda
the big
is
stuffed animal.
concentrating. Yes. Who doesn't love a big stuffed animal, right?
7, 6, 5.
Okay, time. All right. Turn them around, ladies, so everybody at home can see what you've done. Okay, I don't know. Amanda, Rose Dolly, Lauren, they're all looking pretty good, Lara.
You got a lot of goodies in there.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Lauren, very impressive.
Very impressive. This is a tough choice because all of the baskets look so amazing. You get to bring them home. And you know what? Lara Spencer, everyone is a winner at GMA. So all of you are not only going home with those baskets, you're also going home, bring it out with a Target $100 gift card. What is better than that? Amazing. Great job, ladies, and happy spring.
Thank you, Target. Thank you, guys. You guys are very talented. And guys, remember, you can shop all of these items on our website, goodmorningamerica.com, or by scanning the QR code on your screen. Lots of really cute ideas. Thank you, as always.
Thank you.
You're so good. Hey, coming up, 1 pan plans. I did it. I made it through that. Hungry girl, Lisa Lillian is here with healthy, easy sheet pan meals. So good. Stay with us. All right, we are ready to cook, baby. If you are scrambling to make breakfast, New York Times bestselling author, Hungry Girl, Lisa Lillian is here with us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I love this. You've got a whole 1-pan plan for a grab-and-go breakfast. It's easy, it's healthy, it's delicious. Trust me, it's delicious. It's a recipe from her brand new cookbook, Hungry Girl Sheet Pan Cookbook. What more could you want? I love a sheet pan. I love because it's one thing to wash, one thing to think about, and hard to make a mistake.
And easy to clean, which is most important.
Exactly.
So these are
this is a pancake
bars. Healthy. Healthy is key.
Like it looks like a blondie, like a brownie. But it is not. It's super healthy.
No, so I mixed
Lisa,
up
you're mixing
whole wheat flour for extra fiber, a little sweetener, some applesauce instead of oil. It's all about swapping. I've been swapping
some eggs for some protein,
egg white or egg beaters, and some vanilla almond milk, unsweetened, of
so
course.
You're getting a lot of protein punch in there.
Yes,
fresh blueberries
and some fiber. You fold in the blueberries. You know, it's hard also when you cook pancakes on a griddle or on a pan. It's hard to make them even.
Yeah.
And some of them, they burn one side.
Yeah, I know. I always am like, don't look at the other side.
Yeah.
Just enjoy what you see.
Absolutely. So the sheet pan does it evenly. It does it quickly, and you can store these in the freezer.
Right.
I mean, and in the fridge, so you have them for the week. So you
Is
fold
there
in
any
the blueberries.
You add your blueberries. You mix up those ingredients.
Mix it up.
We'll have the ingredients for you. They're also in her cookbook. But you put it in the oven. How long?
About 15 to 20 minutes.
I mean, doesn't get easier than that.
No, wow, it's right.
Literally looking like a blondie minus the chocolate chips.
And this is going to be 10 servings, so it'll last all week.
And then I don't know if you can see it on the plate. You do use syrup, but you don't need to. They're so good.
A light syrup, a little butter, a little whatever. It's
so
good.
That's our
very
breakfast
healthy
1-pan dish.
Yes.
For dinner, I love this one as well. This is salmon, you guys. It is so pretty and so easy.
So easy to make the salmon. It's like it's impossibly easy. So
you buy a nice piece of salmon. You season it with what?
Garlic, salt,
garlic.
pepper. And then here's the key. It's honey mustard. So this is honey mustard pretzel salmon, which is such a good flavor profile for this.
So it's a little bit of honey mustard, and then
great for kids.
Then you crunch up some pretzels.
Yeah, you smash them up.
Smash them
Put
up.
them on the salmon.
Put them on the salmon.
This is a great way to introduce kids
I'm just repeating
to
everything you say.
It's okay. Good job.
Is there an echo in here?
Excellent. Throw it in the oven.
How long?
Like 12, 14 minutes.
And obviously you don't need to turn it. It's done.
No,
don't
it's
touch
beautiful. It is so good for you.
And then
Omega-3s,
baby carrots.
baby sweet, and the sweetness with the tang of the mustard.
Did you do any oil on the carrots?
No, very little.
Very
little. That's the thing. You
And
don't
the
even
whole
need
thing
it.
cooks for what? 10 minutes?
12 minutes.
Come
and you're
on.
done.
Okay, this is. I love an easy cookbook.
I am all about tips and tricks. I've been sending daily emails for 21 years.
Put me on that list.
And this is just.
We don't have a ton of time, but this dessert is worth looking up, you guys. Tell us what it's called.
Out of this world. This is a chocolate-covered strawberry frozen yogurt bark. You mix Greek yogurt with a little whipped topping, some cocoa, so you get that protein punch from the Greek yogurt. It is so delicious, only about 120 calories a serving.
I mean, and
everybody loves this stuff.
Literally, you've got like a dinner party right here.
It's a party.
Add a green salad, and you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
This is awesome, guys. The cookbook is so good. You can get the recipes on GoodMorningAmerica.com. The Hungry Girl Sheet Pan Cookbook is out now. And Lisa, will you please come back again?
Absolutely.
Love
Thank
having
you.
here.
Ooh, April Fool's Day. We got the show with no pranks.
So
It's
far.
still time. So far.
Still early.
Oh, good.
Oh, yummy.